Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Aroh, and today I will talk about how we can connect a custom connector in a Power Platform from scratch. So my name is Aroh Shukla. I'm Microsoft certified trainer, speaker, and a blogger. You can see my contacts here. My Twitter handle, my blogs, as well as my LinkedIn profile. Okay, but first thing first, I want to ask everyone who is in this picture, attendees, please donate. It's very, very important to save our children and support to UNICEF. Very, very important. And very big hands, I really give a big hand to all the sponsors who give such a big platform for all the speakers. And seriously, I can't think that like so much support they give us. So a big shout out to all sponsors. Okay. Yeah. So first thing first, about what we discussed today is about how we can create a custom connector in business applications in Power Platform specifically, and then how we can build a connector from scratch. Quite simple, not a rocket science, but some tip and tricks I will show you during the demos. And then I will showcase the connector's architecture, how it works, and what is the behind the scenes. Okay, and obviously we have two demos, and it's quite fully packed. So maybe towards the end, if you have any questions, you can just ask me. Okay, so let me show you what is the Power Platform. Now, Power Platform specifically is for low-code platforms that spans for Office 365, obviously Dynamics 365, and standalone applications. Okay, the best thing about Power Platform is that you don't need any technical skills. You need a developer. So you are a citizen developer, which means you are have not done any coding, but you know the business very well. In that context, we have four applications. The one you have a Power BI, which is a reporting tool, which you can connect to your native Microsoft toolkits as well as to third-party applications, your data sources. The second is your Power Applications, Power Apps. So you can design your applications. If you have anyone worked with the InfoPath forms, it's a successor, and it's a very, very good successor because you can do multiple things. Third thing is a Power Automate. It's your workflow engine, and maybe you have seen just 2 days back that Microsoft has retired SharePoint 2010 workflows. Right, it's become retired. So it's Microsoft is mostly focusing on the Power platforms, Power Apps and Power BI, those things. And the latest in our in this particular SKU is we have something called as Power Virtual Agents. Again, what Microsoft's trying to do is that you don't need any kind of coding. You have drag drop functionality through which you can have your chatbots increased. So again, if you have a legacy system, you can connect your chatbots, and you can talk to as a human. It's very easy. Then we have data connectors. Again, we talk about data connectors, portals, AI builders, and common data service. So in our demo today, we have two demos. One is using common data service. We use Google API, and one is using the weather API using Power Automate. Okay, so again, a brief of Power Apps is something as a low-code system through which you can connect mostly everything, low code everything. If you want to have third-party systems, you can connect as well. So best thing is that you don't need any kind of coding experience. But if you have some developer experience, you can connect to your third-party systems, like which I'm today I'm going to show you. Okay, the best thing that you can easily integrate your Power Apps with Office 365, Azure, Dynamics 365, and Power BI. Okay, and also we have always have peace of mind. You have all your compliance and security in your when you're using ecosystem in Microsoft. Okay, and then what is a Power Automate? Again, Power Automate is something as a workflow engine. So you have some repeated stuff you do on a daily basis. For example, you run Excel file and had to give report to your management. That has become very tedious, right? So what you can do, you can create a Excel file and put inside your Power Automate, and each month your Excel file will generate Excel file, an email to your management, to your manager, and to you as well. It's so simple. Okay, so you can do a lot of things inside Power Automate. And if again, I mentioned to you earlier that Power Automates is designed for everyone. It can use by end users specifically, is very good for the end users, and you can just drag drop. You can do. Or if you have experience in writing custom APIs, RESTful APIs, you can do. And if you want to have some governance standpoint, your IT admins can also help you on that. Okay, and again, I want to highlight that this Power Platform doesn't work only for your cloud services. You can use your on-premises applications. Very simple. So what you have to install, you install a gateway, whether it's a Power BI, whether it's your Power Apps, or your Power Automate. You install a gateway, and you can do install on your on-premises applications. Right, so you're not tied to the cloud. You can just do everything inside your on-premise applications as well. Okay, so again, just want to highlight that I just want to what is an API? What's an API? So API, again, as a layman, is a is something called as through which you can talk to one system to another. Right, so for example, I want to talk to my legacy system, which is in Salesforce, and want to connect to Adobe Sign. Obviously, I can do it. Yeah, so we RESTful service will always help us. So I give an example here that, for example, we are using and Power Apps applications. We have some form in Power Apps, and we need some signature using Adobe Sign. Okay, so what happens, right? If as an end user, you can see that you have a API call, which is API request, which go to the server. And that server is maybe your Adobe server, and Adobe server will actually try to get the capabilities of e-signature capabilities, and that particular resource, that data resource, will respond to the server again, and will go back to your application. So it's a two-way transfer. One is a response, then we request, right? So first we request to this particular diagram, then we go back to the response, then the response will go back to the application. So this is a quite simple process which we can easily do. Then I want to why I want to highlight this why connector, because any connector, custom connector, which actually is a wrapper in an API. If you want to connect your APIs in SharePoint, you are actually by default using REST APIs. Okay, so what happens that if you want to create an API, those APIs can be used both in Power Automate and in your Power application or Power Apps. So easy. Okay, so again, you can connect to all your on-premises systems or your online system as well. Very simple application. So I just want to give brief of the type of connectors we have in market in Microsoft. We have public connectors. Now, what is public connectors? So public connectors are open to all, which means that any tenant, whether it's on-premises or online, they can easily connect using your SharePoint. Obviously, SharePoint, your OneDrive for Business, you can connect because it's public and certified by Microsoft. Then we have something called as custom connectors. Now, custom connectors are mostly used for your organizations. I don't want to share my information. I have some legal information which I doesn't want to disclose to the public. So I write a custom applications. Okay, so this is a few applications we can use, and we're not exposing to the internet. Okay, these are mostly some very secure applications which you don't want to expose to internet. Okay, and why we built internet by the connector? So there are a couple of reasons. First thing, right, the developers, developers want to connect to different applications. Okay, the first thing, right? Microsoft give lot of a suite of connectors, but not all the connectors are available. Okay, well, I'll give you an example of that soon. So we have to write some enterprise developers. I mean, as developers can easily write it. Then we have some partners like us who can write, help the customers to connect um, to custom APIs and when it doesn't want to export to the internet. Okay, so that's a few things we can do. So either developers can create in-house or a partner can help you and write a business application using a custom connector. Okay, so how we build the connectors? Very simple, very easy. You first develop and secure and your API. Now your API, I'm not creating, I'm just consuming APIs. So those APIs could be your open API or a Postman. For our example, we're using the API from scratch. I'm not using a Postman or open API. Second, I'll be using validate my APIs. I do some testing whether it's working fine. Those APIs can be used both in Power Automate or in Power Apps. That is a good thing. And first I've tested all my applications working fine. Then I will do the share these connectors with my organization people. Okay, this is the thing. Then second is if I think that this is very good and this a lot of people are using this connector. What I can do later that if I get management approval, I can ask Microsoft that I want to certify this my connector, and here that the Microsoft will check whether your connector is good enough. But only the catch is that when you have certified, you must have a 24/7 support. Okay, that's a very crucial thing. For any certification, you must have a 24/7 support. So any person who want to have any issue, you can approach you or your company. Okay. Okay, so there's a lot of things you can do. First, for any connector, it's very important to have friendly names because if if you write very cryptic names, nobody people able to understand because your connector should be used by end users, not by IT guys. Should be used by end users. Okay, and we can also in Power Automate is something called as trigger, and we can use as a HTTP request, which is very easy to call. Okay, but I give you an example that why we should not using HTTP request. The reason being that you can obviously use HTTP request action. Okay, and they can, for example, I can get all my SharePoint libraries from retail site and fetch. But problem with this HTTP request is only used by only one workflow. So I can't reuse. That is the main problem with HTTP request. However, if I write a custom connector, I can make for many applications and I can reuse for other applications as well. So it's just a black box which through we can just connect it very easily. And that's why custom connectors are so useful that you don't have to use for only for one application. You can use for other application as well, very easy. Either you can use as an Power App or Flow, or you can use as a Logic app. So I give you very brief information that the architecture. So what's the architecture? So we have a hosting environment. Who's a hosting environment? In our case, is Microsoft Cloud is a hosting environment. Okay. Then I want to trigger an API and I will connect to some kind of parameters like connection ID, operation. Operation is whether I want to input information or want to have updates informations. Those information will be sent to the Microsoft Cloud, the custom connector, and later on it will be sent to the API, actual API, which has the host and the paths. And most important thing is the credentials. So your API must be secure. Okay. After that, those APIs can be go back and do some processing and sent to the hosting environment, which is a Microsoft Cloud, and it will send back to the either Power Automate or Power Apps. So this is a very simple diagram through which you can this is simple architecture. You can go back and forth. Weather depends. You want to just get information from the about specific things, or you want to update something. It depends on you. So again, I give an example that I'm calling a flow. Yeah, I'm calling a flow. First thing, I'm calling a flow here. I'm using Power Apps. For that, our Power Automate will do some processing, and I'm using a QuickBook. QuickBook is another connector where we don't have any custom connector we have to write. So it is some kind of is used for mostly for accounting applications. Okay, so I will call the QuickBook Online API, and this API will process something and give the result to the my as a JSON format. Okay, then this connector, which is in my Office 65, will do some processing and send details to my Power App. So this is the very basic architecture which we can use it. Okay. So again, how to secure is very important. That if you want to have a more details, like for example, you have a integration with the uh, Office 65 or something, you can have some integration here using Office 65, and you can have a one key inside your Office 65 and another key inside your cloud as well. I mean your application. So it make much more difficult to crack if the hacker want to do it. So we have a keys exchange between the two environments. Okay, so this is the thing which I want to highlight. I don't want to focus on too much theory because I know that people are are really excited about the how the power, I mean how the kind of custom connector can be used. So today I have a couple of minutes to show you that I will using a basic simple API using Power Automate, Weather API. And second, we'll be using another API called as a Google API. Both are not custom connectors. These are default. You have to create yourself, right? So we will do today. Let's see how we can do it. Okay. So let me show you. Okay, so this is my Power Apps. I'm using my environment. You can see that I have my corporate environment and I have my own environment. So I'm using my own environment because I'm using for testing. This environment is only for development. I can't use for production. And that's why it's free. It's free for you. So you just go to Power Apps community. You have some community plans through which you can do development. You can see. Let me just zoom it a bit. The individual environment and not for production. So I'm using for only for testing purposes. Very simple. Right. So what I will do, I want to do a simple uh, thing. I want to do a connector. Okay. Let me um, I have a couple of connectors. So I will go to data. Let me go back here. Let it go to home. I have some connectors. I have uh, for go to any connectors. What you have to do here, go to Power Apps, go to data, and go to your custom connectors tab. Okay, and under which you can see a ton of connectors. I have because I'm testing, I have to do a demo for you, so you can see all my different connectors, the cocktail recipe, the COVID tracker, those things and all. So what I will do, I will want to create a new connector called as Weather API. Okay, so let me create a. So this is my Weather API, and I will do this demo API. This particular this a new connector should be unique. Okay, so I just defined here demo weather API, and I just connect it. Okay. So what will happen here is we show a wizard, a new wizard, and if we go for different segments, we have general, we have security, we have definition of the connector, what it actually can do, and we have testing. So we have to do all four steps. You can't do a skip money step. You have to do all four steps. Very important. So what I can do, I can just create a new connect. I just create an icon. I have a couple of icons. Let's do the weather. This is the weather. Right? I have to, then this is the weather icon. Then in general, I have to put some kind of icon. So I use the same icon 001. This is a background. When you create a new Power Automate, right, you have a tab, right? This is the tab color you can use. So I can use the default color 0005, and I can define. What I'm going to do, I'm creating a new weather app. So I'll be using an API. So what API I'm using is I'm using this API. Okay, so it's a very well detailed API, and have to go to create an account so that I can use an API key. Okay, so you see, it is a very detailed documentation on weather stack. Documentation is very detailed, and they give you an example that I can use. You can use an API. I can just copy, and then you shows the a sample that if you want to use, you have to use that API dot weather stack current, and you to pass your key. You have to pass your key. You have to pass your key. That will work for you. Okay. So what I will do, I will just use this. I use where is my API? I just copy this one. This is my API, and it's not description. So this is my API description. It's very important that end users must have knowledge what you're doing, right? Very important. So I put a retrieve your weather information using this API. So all the users are able to see when you click on the tooltip, they can see. Okay, and our example, we're using HTTP. So we have to change from HTTPs to HTTP, and our host is this one. So I just copy this one, and I'll copy and paste here. This is our host, and our base will be only this. So base, I use this one as a base. Very simple, very easy, nothing to do. Okay, very simple. So this is the one we have one part. The first part we have done, we created an image. We have a description. We get the API, uh, and then we go to security. Now, one of the demos I will be using an API keys, because API key is very important for authentication and security. So I'll be using an API key. I'm using the API key, and under API key, I'll be entering a few information. I will put a label, and I will put the access key. How I can access key, because access key is required here, right? Access key. So I put it as a parameter. I put my access key, and rather than put header, I put a query, because we have to query the weather information from either from Paris or from New Delhi to Pune or New York. We have to get the information, so we have to get the parameter as a query. These are very important parts, and we have to input our key as well. Okay, so security part is covered now. Let's go to definition. So we have to create a definition. So how can create a definition? I create here a new action. I put a summary. I put get weather. Put get weather here. And again, I do that very important in my PPT. I mentioned that you create a simple, meaningful description for your actions. Okay. So my description very simple. That you get information about specific city, and I have an operation ID. So what is the operation ID? Aroh, what is the operation ID? This operation ID will be used in your Power Automate, right? What we do, Power Automate. So we have to use Power Automate for that. Okay, so I will use here. Okay, next what we will do, that we have to get some information about weather. Okay, so I just want to save time. So I have my access key. You see access key. This is my access key, and I put some a query. Okay, so again, there are two things very important thing for any API. There are two things very important. The endpoint. What's the endpoint? A request. This is my request that I want to query. My endpoint is the query that I want to get information as place. For example, Mumbai, and all the information about Mumbai and its temperature, details, everything. Okay, and this is the response. This is the response which the API give to us. So we have response request, what is the endpoint, and this is our response. Okay, so we have to use both things in our connector. Okay, so let me do it here. So this is the request. I just create a sample. Okay, so how we can do? I just copy this one. Sorry, this one. Get and this is the my endpoint, right? So I have my access keys. See, I'm access keys. The end user should not be getting it because it's only for as an admin, and the developer actually able to get it. So I get the query and the Mumbai is my place. Okay. So I give an only example. So I click import. You see what happened? It gave a URL endpoint and give a query parameters, right? Now I don't need this query parameters because the end users won't be using it at all. So I can just delete this thing. I just delete it and I can just modify. And because again my end user should be knowing what I'm doing. I just add it here and inside I put the description, right? So end user should be getting the information about city and city name. I put the city name, right? Very important thing that whether this parameter should be required or not, obviously, because we had to want to query as the end user, if you want to query about specific request, right, you must be supply the city name. So I put required feature. Okay, so I've done with that. So I'm done the definition, I've done the request form. Okay, the next one is the response. Where is my response? The response actually is coming from here. This is my response. I told you, right? This is my response. This is data coming from the server. I can just copy it and my input is copy paste here. Sorry. I put this JSON data here. Okay. Here I want to highlight that there are a lot of APIs which give good information. Like for example, weather API have very detailed information. But there are other APIs which are not very strong, which are not very valid, right? So I will strongly recommend to use JSON validator to check your APIs because your all your workloads, your JSON data actually is in JSON information. So if your JSON information is not correct, obviously your connector won't work properly. So I'm giving the some tips and tricks that always check. Okay, see if I put here question mark, you see incorrect. So very important to check is if your data is correct. Okay, I just import it. Wow, this is everything. You see, I got all the information. So Power Automate is very smart. It gave me all the parameters. It gave me the about humidity, whether it's the visibility of the city and the country code, the name of the country, everything. So I can actually modify a small parameter. I can just put it. I change the property to temperature in Celsius. Okay, I won't do much. Okay, and what I will do next, I'll just go to create a connector. Okay, very important thing. Again, I want to highlight that although a show is connected, is successful, but again, if you just rush up and just click on the test, you might it failed. Okay, so you have to be patient in the cloud system, right? You have to be patient. Maybe take a cup of coffee and wait for a few seconds or maybe minute something, right? So this may not work properly immediately. We have to just verify if it's working fine or not. Okay, so let me go and test first. Let me check. Okay, so now it's showing as a connector, right? So Aroh, where is the API? I have not put any API. So I told you the API will come soon here. So when I create a new connection, you see API has come, right? API. So this is my API. This is my API, testing API is using this one. And I create. Now we went back. Very important, it actually went back. So what I can do that this is all my connectors here. I will go back to my custom connectors. Where is my new connector which I just did it? This is the one. Demo connector, right? I go back. I verify all the inputs which I have done. Let me check. Everything is done. I'm using the HTTP. It's okay, secure. I'm using the API key. It's well and good. I go my definition. I get weather. I got all my parameters. I have put. I will want to check with my parameters has also came. Yes, well good. Now I can test it. Now you can see I got a new connector. Okay. If you rush up, you just test it, then you might get an error, 404 error. The reason being, any custom connector take at least on the back end to be processed. Okay, so very important to always take note that any connector will take some time. Okay, let me do it now. Let me show you city name. We put Pune, city in Maharashtra. Let me test it out. You see, all my information has come now. You see, Pune, and all the data is coming from API, right? The region, latitude or longitude, the temperature, everything is so easy using connector. Okay, so I again, what I will do, I just update it. It's working fine. I will create a flow. I will create a flow, blank. Okay, let's use this one. Create here. Okay, I create here, and I can see they have a lot of actions. So where is my custom actions? So you can see I have all my custom actions are actually is inside under custom tab. You see I have custom connectors, right? This is the weather API we just did together, right? You see this is no action. This is the only thing, get weather information. That's it. So that's why very important to have a description names. Okay, film city, right? It's very important to have a descriptive names. So I can put New York, and I will do some testing. Save it. So then I will do my testing. A simple test. I do a perform a trigger. I check whether my API is working fine. I using this continue, and soon if we run the flow, our flow is successful. You see, successful, and we get all the information about New York. The query is about the New York, the United States of America, city name, and we get the defined temperature, right? We get temperature property we defined, so we got all the information about the temperature. You see, so easy to create a custom connector, right? So let me just want to show another thing which I'm going to do is using a Google API. Very easy, very simple. This will take lesser time. Okay, because you now got the concepts. Let's create one more connector using Google API. Okay, so I again go to Google. So I go to connector, and here I will define as a connector name as demo Google API. So just for testing purposes. Okay, then I can define. Very important to put a name icons. Very easy to for end users to note that we are doing this particular API. And I will define what all I will do from my connector. So I will define that I'm getting all the books information from the internet. Okay, let's show you that this is the Google API. This is Google API, and this is a similar thing we can today we are getting only the get information, just retrieve the information. We're not doing anything else. Okay, then we have some information about the which API and the format. So I will just copy the host. My host is Google APIs. Just copy this one. I'm done with that. I just pass this one because it's HTTPS. We have to pass HTTPS. Okay, and you see here it has books, right? So I have to define books as a path. Define path. I'm done with that. This is the thing, very simple. In general, and 4 parts, we have done one part with a general. I go to security. Again, if I using this particular thing, I'm not using any kind of APIs. For example, that you can have an API here, right? You can get some information about the author, but I don't want to do because we have short of time. I just do a simple no authentication, no authentication at all. Okay, you can do this one. So I just define it. Okay, next one. How I have to define. I define the what action. So in my action, I get a book. I get a book, right? And here I will define. I get a volume from an API. And the operation ID will be used in our Power Apps. Okay, so in previous environment, we're using in Power Automate. In this testing demo, we're using Power Apps to do it. Okay, so this is a very simple thing. And again, we will go and go to Google API. We have this search term, right? So I already copied over. These are search terms. So I just use in my request. This is my again my endpoints. This is my endpoints. Okay, and this is my response. Endpoint response. Endpoint response. Endpoint response. It is very important to note this thing. So you get the template with the template, and I just fetching the information from my copy this and I just and you get it. You see, I get a query. Okay, I get the query as well. Very simple. Nothing much I'm doing it. But here I don't need require and is required. I just want to get some information from here. Okay. So other things that for the response, right, it's not very intuitive from Google, right? So I have crafted an API structure through which I can get my details. So I have some ISBN information. Just copy this thing. This is my information. This is my response part. So I will just use this is my request. This is my endpoint, and this is my response. So in my response, I will use this data. And I paste here. See, again, very important. The API JSON payload should be correct enough information, right? Otherwise, you get an errors. Always use JSON validated to check. Wow, amazing stuff. You get all the information about the country, the rating. Amazing, right? So very good to use it. Okay, so let me do it again, and let me create a connector now. Okay, again, I just want to tell you that it takes some time to load the things. Let me go to the test one. Okay, I created a connection. Now it's asking that because I have put the connector name, right, Google API, it's asking whether you want to create a connection. So obviously I have to test it out. I create a connection here. Okay, again I go to the my connector. So which I did yeah, this one I just created now. Okay, I will just skim through all the parameters. It's working fine. My security is no authentication. I have all the information. All my details are there. So what I can do, I can just pass an ISBN information. Okay, so I can just use one of the parameter of one of the ISBN book. Okay, you see now all the information. So ISBN name of their book is called as Life's Amazing Secrets. Amazing book which I'm reading now. It's very nice book. It's about failure and security and success. Very nice book. So again, that we can use it. What I can do next is I will create a Power App. Yeah. So we have to do a Power App. So I create an app, Power App. Yeah, I create an app. Okay, I just use a tablet. I create here. Okay, so what I'm doing, I just want to recap that we have what you have done so far. We have created a custom connector for weather API using Power Automate. We use a one parameter called a city. You can add as many parameters you can do. The second, demo which we are doing now is using a Google API. Google API have a lot of parameters. You can have your ISBN information, you have the author, the rating, you can do everything. Okay, but for the short of time, I just want to show you that what I can do to, because we have custom connector, I will search for my Google connector. So search my Google. Wow, you can see I have lot of connectors. You see now these are standard connectors, but this is a free from Microsoft. You see Google connector. You have a Google Drive, Google Docs, but Google Books is not a it's not a custom connector. So it's a premium connector. So what I can do, I can just create a custom connection in using my Power Apps. Okay, I click connect, and it will prompt me. This is the actually this is the Google Books API. It's a custom connector. So I got it. I just click here on got it. Okay, so next what I will do, I give a simple thing. I just create two different actions. I just create an input item, and I create a button. Okay, as simple as that. So what I will do next is I will try to use in on select rather than false. I create a collection. Okay, I use clear collect, and the collection name I put as a book. Okay, and I'll be using Google demo Google APIs. Okay, and I will use this one, and I will pass the parameter which is coming from a text box. Okay, so I'll use a text box. Dot text. And we put, you see now? So there's no error here, no error, right? So what I will do, I just pass ISBN code. So I have an ISBN code which I'm using it. I just pass this one, and obviously it won't show much information here. It just pass the information, but on behind the scenes, because I have a connect as a collection, right? So this collection has a how many items? I have around 2072 items here. So I click on number of items. I can see amazing list of items from here, right? So it's very simple thing, very simple. I got to get all the information from my Google Books API, and I query of everything. But Aroh is not very useful. It's a no use case. I show you. I can't show you in my real life. So what you can do, we can create. I have already did. I created a connector, Google connector for you, so that you can just see. So let me show you. This is my library book that I'm using app for libraries. So this is all my books, right? So this is Aroh's Power Apps library, and you can have as many parameters you can have. You can have author, you can have a date, you can have the rating. You can put everything. So what I can do here, I can just pass the parameter of ISBN, and I will get all the things, right? You see all the things. I get the thumbnail, I put a description, and all the things. Okay, now because I'm the library users, I want to add this thing in my basket. Okay, so I can just add here. You see, it's already added now. Maybe I want to have flowers on my path. Okay, and maybe I want to do it the richest man in the world. Okay, just click here. You see? No, I said no, this is not very. It's not. I don't like ebooks. I don't prefer. That I just it. Good rush. And later, what you can do, you can just send these particular two books as an email to your customer, or your anything you can do. So this is the two ways you can have your Power Apps connectors. Very simple ways, and many other things you can have. You can do a lot of things. So I just want to highlight that for this particular thing, in search items, you can have items for the as you can have your own uh, API key, like whether in whether you put the API key, right? We can do similar thing here. Okay, we can get the authors, we can get all the information for this, right? All the books. Okay, and how I did it. Let me show you how I created this one. So this goes off. I just create. I show you. I go to edit. I did some kind of other things because in 45 minutes I can't show entire demo about how I did it. So yeah, and yeah, so these are my gallery and these are stuff I'm using it. So very simple stuff I'm doing, and I'm using a patch to get all the details, and that's it. And again, I'm sharing all the things what in my slide deck and this particular Power Apps after my session. I put inside my blog. You can share it. I can use it and repurpose in your environment. Thank you. So, any
Yeah, I do
questions
want
from?
to let you know that it is 45 past the hour and there are no questions. So you can just summarize.
Oh yeah. Okay. So there's no questions yet. I just want to highlight that using custom connectors is very easy. But only thing is that you must have, if you want to extend it, you have to do some knowledge how to use it. Um, uh, if you want to understand more about Power Platform as such, you try to go for amazing video content, which is from Power Platform community. They have a lot of content about Power Apps, Power BI, and also about Power Automate. And also they have a lot of content, video content, as well as the docs on Microsoft. They have a lot of video content there and the text files. Specifically, I'm not using any documentation as such because the documentation get outdated very fast and the videos get updated very regularly. So this video will be again uploaded soon, and I will also surround this all my details in my blog so you can refer it. Okay, so we don't have any questions, right? So we pass to other.
Yeah, there are no questions.
Yeah,
So we appreciate all of this. Do you
yeah,
want to, do you have a slide with your contact information and your blog and that sort of thing?
yeah. I will just share the information again. And just one thing to highlight: this is very important to have a feedback about the session. Okay, the speaker feedback. My name is Aroh Shukla, and you can just comment on the how I was it good, bad, or worse, whatever it is. Put the comments. Your comments are really appreciated, and again put the event feedback. Very important to get event feedback so that you can see all the things which are underlying. We have still have some events in the pipeline. And for my blog, I just want to share my blog that this is my blog is here, right? This is Aroh Shukla West Music. I write very regularly. I update my blog regularly here as well. And my LinkedIn contact is here. It's Aroh Shukla. This is my LinkedIn contact. So if you want to contact me, you can just contact very easily. So I accept all the invites. Okay, my blogs and my Twitter. Let me just show my Twitter handle as well. Yeah, this is my Twitter handle, Aroh_bits. Okay, so I'm done with the day. I mean,
Is that
I'm hopeful that everything like the session, and please rate my session as well and the event. Thank you.